Hey guys, so we will be reading chapter number 5 of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Develop a burning desire. Every noteworthy achievement begins with a burning desire for what one wants. If you do not first see great riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your bank balance. And never in the history of America has there been greater opportunity. We who are in the pursuit of riches should be encouraged to know that this dynamic world is in which we live is demanding new ideas, new ways of doing things, new leaders, new inventions, new methods of teaching, new method of marketing, new books, new literature, new application for computers, new cures for diseases, and new approaches to every aspect of business and life. Opportunities are boundless. Behind all this demand for new and better things, there is one equality one must possess to win a definite purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. You must know what you want and have a burning desire to possess it. Be a practical dreamer. Practical dreamers are those who put their dreams into action. You must know what you want and have a burning desire to possess it. Be a practical dreamer. Have a burning desire to possess it. Be a practical dreamer. Practical dreamers are those who put their dreams into action. They have always been and always will be the pattern makers of civilization. We who desire to accumulate riches should remember the real leaders of the world always have been people who harnessed and put into practical use the intangible, unseen forces of unborn opportunity and have converted those forces or impulses of thought into skyscrapers, cities, factories, airplanes, automobiles, better healthcare, and every form of convenience that makes life more pleasant. Tolerance and an open mind are practical necessities of the dreamer of today. Those who are afraid of new ideas are doomed before they start. Never has there been a time more favorable to pioneers than the present. True, there is no wild and woolly west to be conquered, as in the days of the covered wagon, but there is a vast business, financial, and industrial world to be remolded and redirected along new and better lines. In planning to acquire your share of the riches, let no one influence you to scorn the dreamer. To win the big stakes in this ever changing world, you must catch the spirit of the great pioneers of the past, whose dreams have given to civilization of that it has of value. The spirit which serves as the lifeblood of our own country. In planning to acquire your share of the riches, let no one influence you to scorn the dreamer. To win the big stakes in this ever changing world, you must catch the spirit of the great pioneers of the past, whose dreams have given to civilization all that it has of value. The spirit which serves as the lifeblood of our own country. your opportunity and mine to develop and market our talents. Let us not forget Columbus dreamed of an unknown world, staked his life on the existence of such world and discovered it. Copernicus, the great astronomer, dreamed of a multiplicity of worlds and revealed them. No one denounced him as impractical after he had triumphed. Instead, the world worshipped at his shrine, thus proving once more that success requires no apologies, failure permits no alibis. Requires no apologies. No one denounced him as impractical after he had triumphed. The world worshipped at his shrine, thus proving once more that success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. Success requires no apologies. Failure permits no alibis. What does it even? Statement by somebody that says you were in a different place at the time of a crime and so can't be guilty of the crime itself. Okay, basically like evidence, no? Grok. How did I was? पुश ही नहीं कर रहा साला। हो जा भाई।
Hi, I'm Gemini. We're about to go live, where you can explore complex topics or. Alright, let's dive right in, whenever you're ready.
Bro, I'm reading a book and it is saying that mm, success requires no apologies and failure permits no alibis. What does it mean?
It means that success is straightforward and needs no explanation, while failure leaves no room for excuses. So, what context is this phrase used in?
You tell.
Could you please provide more context from the book? It would help me give a more accurate explanation.
Search the web.
The phrase success requires no apologies and failure permits no alibis is a powerful statement about accountability. It emphasizes that when you succeed, there's no need to explain or defend your position. Your accomplishments speak for themselves. On the flip side, when you fail, shifting the blame or coming up with excuses is ineffective.
If the thing you wish to do is right and you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Put your dream across and never mind what they say if you meet with temporary defeat. For they perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. Transmute desires to riches. Every human being who reaches the age of understanding the purpose of money wishes for it. Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways, then planning definite ways that means to acquire क्या लिखा है wishing will not bring Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring then planning definite ways and means to acquire. अरे सब सही. State of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches. Means to acquire riches and backing बढ़ रहे हैं does not require failure will bring riches. यार कहाँ है ट्यूब? यहीं रखी मुझे. Welcome, dun, 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 welcome. Okay. If the thing you wish to do is right, then you will and ठीक है इधर will bring riches. The method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into financial equivalent consists of these six definite practical steps. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire it. तो सबसे पहले तो फिक्स करना है. We have to fix the amount that we desire. Be definite. We have to be definite about the amount of money we want. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as getting something for nothing. Determine exactly. Establish a definite date. Intend to possess. Definite plan for carrying out your desires and begin at once to put this plan into action. अरे फोन कहाँ से आ गया. I guess so. Write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, the time limit for its acquisition, and plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Also, you have to write the plan. Clear, concise statement of amount of money you intend to acquire, the time limit for its acquisition, and what the money, the plan. Allowed twice daily, once just rising morning. As you read, see the feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. भाई हो जाए बस कुछ भी करके. उसके बाद आएगी। So yes, fix in your mind, the exact amount of money. The exact amount of money would be coming from here. Okay, it will be 100 crores minimum. Sorry, bare minimum. It is 100 crore. नहीं क्यों नहीं अब बना पाऊंगा भाई, 100 करोड़ कोई बड़ी बात थोड़ी ना है. It is 100 crores. Content. Content is one thing, entertainment is another. And product. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. A definite date. 10 जुलाई. 30 की उम्र कितनी होती है मेरी, कितनी होगी? बड़ा नंबर है 100 करोड़. बीस करोड़ देंगे, 20 करोड़ साल के. कंटेंट में ऑलरेडी हूँ, एंटरटेनमेंट में स्टैंड अप. Twice daily, once before retiring at night and once after arising in your morning. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Follow the instruction. Okay, बड़ा सारे तो नहीं, माइंड में रखना है, रिटर्न हो गया. Okay. Content. Entertainment. Of the money. You may complain that it is impossible for you to see yourself in possession of money before you actually have it. Here is where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money so keenly that your desire is an obsession, you will have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. The objective is to want money and to become so determined to have it that you convince yourself you will have it. Only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. Money consciousness means that the mind has become so thoroughly saturated with the desire of money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. Only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. This method for transmuting desire into riches was received from Andrew Carnegie, who began as an ordinary laborer in the steel mills but managed, despite his humble beginning, to make these principles yield him a fortune of considerably more than $100 million. Furthermore, the 6 steps recommended here are carefully scrutinized by Thomas A. Edison, who placed his stamp of approval upon them as being the steps essential not only for the accumulation of money but also for the attainment of any definite goal. The steps call for no hard labor. The steps call for no hard labor. They call for no sacrifice. They do not require one to become ridiculous or credulous, naive. Call for no hard labor. They call for no sacrifice. They do not require one to become ridiculous or credulous, naive. The steps call for no hard labor. They call for no sacrifice. They do not require one to become ridiculous or credulous. The steps call for no hard labor. They call for no sacrifice. They do not require one to become ridiculous or credulous. That is naive. To apply them requires no great amount of education, but the successful application of these six steps does call for sufficient imagination to enable one to see and understand that accumulation of money can't be left to chance, good fortune and luck. One must realize that all who have accumulated great fortune first did a certain amount of dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring, and planning before they acquired money. You can never have riches in great quantities unless you can work yourself into a white heat of desire for money and actually believe you will possess it. Advice from Mary Kay Ash. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, attributed her success to self confidence and faith in herself and all the people in her vast organization. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, attributed her success to self confidence and faith in herself and in all the people in her vast organization, which was more than Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, attributed her success to self confidence and faith in herself and in all the people in her vast organization, which was more than 250,000 independent beauty consultants worldwide. Advice from Mary Kay Ash. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of the Mary Kay Cosmetics, attributed her success to self confidence. You will possess it. You believe. Advice from Mary Kay Ash. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, attributed her success to self confidence and faith in herself and in all the people in her vast organization, which was more than 250,000 independent beauty consultants worldwide. And all the people in her vast organization, which was more than 250k. Alright. Her sales career began 25 years earlier when she joined Stanley Home Products. She often commented that she was not at all successful during her first year and was ready to give up. This changed when she attended her first Stanley sales seminar. She reported, "There I saw this tall, svelte, pretty, successful woman crowned queen as a reward for being the best in a company contest, and I determined to be that queen the following year, which seemed impossible. However, I decided to go up and talk to the president and to tell him that I intended to be queen next year. Mr. Beveridge didn't laugh at me but looked me in the eye, held my hand, and said, "Somehow I think you will." Mr. Beveridge didn't laugh at me but looked me in the eye, held my hand, and said, "Somehow I think you will." Those 5 words drove me, and the next year I was queen. Mary Kay preached and practiced that the first step in achieving success to firmly believe that you are an excellent person who deserves success. In an article in Personal Excellence, she suggested some exercises that will help you create your image of excellence and begin to establish an atmosphere of success in your life. Here are some of her suggestions. Imagine yourself successful. Always picture yourself successful and visualize the person you desire to become. Set aside time each day to be alone and undistributed. Get comfortable and relax. Close your eyes and concentrate on your desires and goals. See yourself in the new environment capable and self confident. Reflect on your past success. Every success, be it large or small, is proof that you are capable of achieving more success. Celebrate each success. You can recall it when you begin to lose faith in yourself. Set definite goals. Have a clear direction of where you want to go. Be aware what you begin to deviate from these goals and take immediate corrective action. Respond positively to life. Develop a positive self image. Your positive reactions to life, and your decisions are completely within your control. Imagine yourself successful. Reflect on past success. Set definite goals and respond positively to life. Positive self image, your positive reactions to life, and your decisions are completely within your control. Set definite goals. Have a clear direction of where you want to go. Be aware when you begin to deviate. Be aware when you begin to deviate from these goals and take immediate corrective actions. From your actions. Corrective action. Reflect on your past successes. Every success, be it large or small, is proof that you are capable of achieving more successes. Or small is proof that you are capable of achieving more successes. Celebrate each success. You can recall it when you begin to lose faith in yourself. Visualize the person you desire to become. Set aside time each day to be alone and undistributed. Get comfortable and relax. Close your eyes and concentrate on your goals. See yourself in the new environment capable and self confident. Imagine yourself successful, reflect on past successes, set definite goals, and respond positively to life. Stories to desire transmuted. Desire transmute of desire transmutation. The ability to transmute intangible desire into tangible riches and achievement is not fiction. Numerous individuals throughout history and in the fields of endeavor people provide the proof that a definite purposeful burning desire coupled with planning and persistence is all that is required to achieve one's goals. You already read in step 1 in the story of Edwin C. Barnes, and the man who thought this way into a partnership with Thomas A. Edison. His success began with a burning desire to work. The man who thought his way into partnership with Thomas A. Edison. His success began with burning desire to work with Edison, not for him. In the following section, you can read the stories of other individuals who transmuted their intangible burning desire into intangible success. Hernan Cortes sinks his own ships. In 1518, Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes set sail from Cuba to Mexico to conquer the Aztecs. Upon his arrival, he gave the order to sink the ships that had carried him and his men and supplies, sending a clear message that victory was the only option. There was no going back. They would win or perish. With only about 500 men, some 5 horses, and some cannon, Cortes was committed to winning. On his way, he visited other cities and met their people. Other tribes did not like their Aztec rulers. Cortes formed alliance with several tribes, including the power Tla- Tlac- Tlaxcala, who eventually helped Cortes lay siege to the conquer the city of Tenochtitlan, Mexico City, and with it Aztec Empire. Every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to sink his ships and cut all the resources of retreat. Only by so doing one can be sure of maintaining that state of mind known as burning desire to win, which is essential to success. Committed to victory, Cortes removed all sources of retreat, leaving only two possible outcomes: victory or defeat, and for him, defeat was not an option. Marshall Field rises from the ashes of the Great Chicago Fire. The morning after the Great Chicago Fire, a group of merchants stood on the State Street looking at the smoking remains of what had been their stores. They went into a conference to decide whether they would try to rebuild or leave Chicago and start over in a more promising area of the country. All except one reached a decision to leave Chicago. The merchant who decided to stay and rebuild pointed a finger at the remains of the store and said, "Gentlemen, on that very spot, I will build the world's greatest store, no matter how many times it may burn down." The store was built. It stands there today, a towering monument to the power of the state of the mind known as burning desire. The easiest thing for Marshall Field to have done would have been exactly what his fellow merchants did. When the going was hard and the future looked dismal, they pulled up and went where the going seemed easier. When you have a burning desire, no obstacle is too big to overcome. Mark well this definite difference between Marshall Field and the other merchants, because it is the same difference that distinguishes distinguishes Edwin C. Barnes from thousands of other young men who have worked in the Edison organization. It is the same difference which distinguishes practically all who succeeded from those who fail. They would try to rebuild or leave Chicago and start over in more promising area of the country. Steven Spielberg wills his way onto the set. As a child, Steven Spielberg dreamed of being a motive director. He began making amateur films with a primitive camera when he was still a child, and his desire intensified. How Spielberg broke into Universal Studios is a legend in the movie industry. He took the Universal Studios tour, an attraction that enabled visitors to get an inside look at the movie business. Visitors ride around the studio lots on a tram. Steven sneaked off the tram and hid between two sound stages. Legend in the movie industry. He took the Universal Studios tour, an attraction that enabled visitors to get an inside look at the movie business. Visitors ride around the studio lots on a tram. Steven sneaked off the tram and hid between two sound stages until the tour ended. When he left at the end of the day, he made a point to say a few words to the gate guard. Day after day for 3 months, he returned to the studio. He walked past and waved at the guard, who waved back. He always wore a suit and carried a briefcase, letting the guard assume he was one of the summer interns. He spoke to and made friends with directors and writers and editors. He even found a vacant office, moved in, and listed his name in the building directory. He made it his business to get to know Sid Sheinberg, then her head of production for the studios. Head of production for the studio's television arm. He showed him his college film project, which so impressed Sheinberg that he put the young man under contract with the studio. Steven Spielberg is a person who had an idea, a distinct purpose, a burning Spielberg. Schindler is a person who had an idea of distinct purpose, but it doesn't make it a reality, and the determination to follow through until he achieved his goal. His first full-length film, The Sugarland Express, received critical acclaim and won a Best Screenplay award at the 1974 Cannes Film Festival. Unfortunately, it performed poorly at the box office. His big break came a year later when he came across the book Jaws. The studio had already decided to produce Jaws and had chosen a well known director to film it. Spielberg desperately wanted to make this movie. Despite the financial failure of the Sugarland Express, his self confidence has not diminished. And he persuaded the producers to dismiss the chosen director and give the film to him. It was not easy assignment. From the beginning, trouble beset the production. It ran into technical problems and cost overruns. However, when Jaws was released in June 1975, it enjoyed twofold success. It broke box office records and the critics loved it. By the end of the theatrical run, it had earned about 260 million domestic and 210 million overseas for a total of nearly 470 million worldwide. Over the next few years, Spielberg directed several films that were not only box office successes but also critically acclaimed, including Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Terrestrial, Terrestrial, The Color Purple, The Lincoln. Spielberg continues to pursue his dreams. When he and the two other Hollywood moguls created their own production company, they called it DreamWorks. He and two other Hollywood moguls created their own production company, they called it DreamWorks. What was the story mean? Like, I cannot understand how Spielberg broke into Universal Studio and a legend is in the movie industry. He took the Universal Studio tour, an attraction that enabled visitors to get an inside look at the movie business. Visitors ride around the studio lots on a tram. Steven sneaked off the tram and hid between two sound stages. He left at day after the alright. The subconscious mind transmutes emotionally charged thought mixed with faith into physical equivalent. The subconscious mind works day and night. The conscious acts on the thoughts it is fed. The subconscious acts on the thought it is fed, whether they are positive or negative. The subconscious mind transmutes emotionally charged thought mixed with faith. Charged thought mixed with faith into physical equivalent. So subconscious mind, emotionally charged thought plus faith physically equivalent. So, so there was one thing that mm, practical dreamers overcome adversity. साला आके चला गया. दिल मेरा Practical dreamers overcome adversity. The world is filled with an abundance of opportunity with which the dreamers of the past never knew. The world is filled with an abundance of opportunity which the dreamers of the past never knew. A burning desire to be and to do is the launchpad. Dreams are not born in indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. The world no longer scoffs at the dreamer. What do you mean by scoffs? Scoffs at the dreamer, nor calls him impractical. Take courage for these experiences have tempered the spiritual metal of which you are made. They are assets of incomparable value. Remember too that all who succeeded in life get off to a bad start and pass through many heartbreaking struggles before they arrive. The turning point in the lives of those who succeed usually come at the moment of some crisis, through which they are introduced to their other selves. Through which they are introduced to their others. Henry Ford, poor and uneducated, dreamed of a horseless carriage. Horseless carriage. Went to work with what tools be possessed without waiting for opportunity to favor him. And now evidence of his dream is global. He has put more wheels into operation. And now evidence of his dream is global. He has put some wheels. He pauses without having waiting for opportunity to favor him, and now evidence of his dream is global. Work with what tools he possesses without waiting for opportunity to favor him, and now evidence of his dream is global. He has put more wheels into operation than anyone who ever lived, because he was not afraid to pursue his dreams. Thomas Edison, who started out as a part time telegraph operator, dreamed of a lamp that could be operated by electricity. And despite more than 10,000 failures, he stood by the dream until he made it a physical reality. He failed innumerable times before he was driven. Finally, to the discovery of the genius that slept within his brain, Abraham Lincoln dreamed of freedom for the black slaves, put his dream into action, and barely missed living to see a united North and South translate his dream into reality. The Wright brothers dreamed of a machine that would fly through the air. Now one may see evidence all over the world that they dreamed soundly. Galileo Marconi dreamed of a system for harnessing the intangible forces of the ether. Evidence that he did not dream in vain may be found in every radio, TV, and cell phone in the world. His dream made the people of every nation on earth neighbors. It created a medium where news, information, and entertainment were broadcast around the world. It may interest you to know that Marconi's friends had him taken into custody and explained in a psychiatric hospital when he announced he had discovered a principle through which he could send messages through the air without the aid of wires or other direct physical means of communication. That he did not dream in vain may be found in every radio, TV, and cell phone. His dream in every nation on earth neighbors broadcast. John Bunyan wrote The Pilgrim's Progress, which among the finest of all English literature. After he had been confined in prison and sorely punished because of his views on the subject of religion, O. Henry discovered the genius that slumbered in his brain only after he had met with great misfortune and was confined in a prison cell in Columbus, Ohio, being forced through misfortune to become being forced through misfortune to become acquainted with his other self and to use his imagination. He discovered himself to be a great author instead of a miserable criminal and outcast. Charles Dickens began by pasting labels on blacking pots. The tragedy of his first love penetrated the depths of his soul and converted him into one of the world's truly great authors. That tragedy produced first David Copperfield, then a succession of other works that made this a richer and better world of all who read his book. This book. Charles Dickens was truly great author. That tragedy produced first David Copperfield, then a succession of other works that made his Charles Dickens. Helen Keller became deaf, dumb, and blind shortly after birth. Despite her misfortune, she has written her name indelibly in the pages of the history of the great. Her entire life has served as evidence that no one ever is defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. Robert Burns was an illiterate country lad, cursed by poverty, who grew up to be a drunkard. The world was made better for his having lived, because he clothed beautiful thoughts in poetry and thereby plucked a thorn and planted a rose in its place. Booker T. Washington was born in slavery, handicapped by race and color, because he was tolerant, had an open mind. तो 25 के बाद कर लूँगा. Was an illiterate country lad cursed by poverty who grew up to be drunkard. The world was made better for his having lived, because he clothed beautiful thoughts in poetry and thereby plucked a thorn and planted a rose in its place. Booker T. Washington was born in slavery, handicapped by race and color, because he was tolerant, had an open mind at all times on all subjects, and was a dreamer. He left his lasting impression on the entire human race. I don't know who was Washington. Lou Ferrigno suffered severe hearing loss at the age of 3 due to an ear infection. Skinny, he fantasized about bulking to up to be become muscular like his comic book heroes. To achieve his goal, he started lifting weights at the age of 12. At 6 feet 5 inches and 21 years old, he became the tallest and youngest to win the Mr. Universe title. Eventually, he landed the role as the Hulk in TV series The Incredible Hulk, starred in over 20 feature films, and became an internationally renowned fitness trainer. He now consults others on how to face one's fear and overcome obstacles. Beethoven was deaf and Milton was blind, but their name will last as long as time endures, because they dreamed and translated their dreams into organized thought. The turning point in the lives of those who succeeded usually comes at the moment of some crisis, through which they one introduced to their other self, through which strange and varied are the ways of life, and stranger still are the ways of infinite intelligence, through which people are sometimes forced to undergo all sorts of punishment before discovering their own brains and their own capacity to create useful ideas through imagination. Practical dreamers do not quit, through which people are sometimes forced to undergo all sorts of punishment before discovering their own brains and their own capacity to create useful ideas through imagination. Practical dreamers do not quit. Strange and varied are the ways of life, and strangers still are the ways of infinite intelligence. Eh? Strange and varied are the ways of life. Okay. And strangers still are the ways of infinite intelligence. And strangers still are the way of infinite intelligence. And still, which people are sometimes forced to undergo all sorts of punishment before discovering their own brains and their own capacity to create useful ideas through imagination. Practical dreamers do not quit. Gemini.
Great, let's get going. You can always change my voice in settings later.
Strange and
Alright, ready
varied.
when you are.
See, bro, listen only. Strange and varied are the ways of life, and strange still are the ways of infinite intelligence through which people are sometimes forced to undergo all sorts of punishment before discovering their own brains and their own capacity to create useful ideas through imagination. What does it mean?
It means that life can be very unpredictable, and we sometimes have to go through tough experiences before we learn what we are capable of. It's like life pushes us to our limits so we can discover our inner strength and creativity. Does that make sense?
Bro, I want you to infer the sentences words by words. Do not tell me the crux of the passage.
Okay, I understand. You'd like me to go through the sentence word by word and explain the meaning of each word rather than giving you the overall meaning. Is that correct?
Yes.
Alright, let's start with the first word strange. What do you think the meaning of strange is in this context?
I don't know.
Strange here means unusual or unexpected. It suggests that life circumstances can be surprising and difficult to predict. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. The next word is and. What do you understand by the word and?
Are you mad or something? I obviously know the meaning of and. Just like explain me sentence by sentence, bro. Don't pick each word. Are you a fool or something?
My apologies for the confusion. I am an AI tool and do not have the capacity to fool myself. I am here to assist you to the best of my abilities. How can I help you further with the sentence? Would you like me to explain the next section?
Grok is better any day.
I am glad to hear you have a preference. Is there anything specific about Grok you find better? I'm always curious to know.
Everything, bro. Everything. Elon Musk is better. Grok is better. So, make me understand the meaning of strange and varied are the ways of life.
The phrase strange and varied are the ways of life means that life has many different and surprising ways of happening. It can be unpredictable and people have all sorts of different experiences. Do you want me to explain the next sentence?
Yes.
And strange still are the ways of infinite intelligence. This part means that wisdom or a higher power can act in ways that we may not understand. Would you like me to elaborate on infinite intelligence?
No, no, no. Please make me understand the and stranger still. What does it mean?
And stranger still means that what follows is even more surprising than what was said before. It emphasizes the unexpected nature of the next thought. Does that make sense?
Explain me in Hindi.
एंड स्ट्रेंजर स्टिल का मतलब है कि इसके बाद जो कहा जाएगा वो और भी ज्यादा हैरान करने वाला है. ये आश्चर्य के भाव को और बढ़ा देता है.
So, is
क्या
this
आपको
a
समझ?
way of speaking or like a way of expression?
हाँ, ये एक तरह का एक्सप्रेसिव तरीका है जब आप किसी बात को बहुत अनोखे या आश्चर्यजनक ढंग से कहना चाहते हैं. ये नॉर्मल बोलचाल में भी यूज होता है जब आप किसी अद्भुत या विचित्र घटना के बारे में बताते हैं. क्या आप इसे किसी और तरह से समझना चाहते हैं?
Yes, for example, how can we use and stranger still?
एंड स्ट्रेंजर स्टिल का उपयोग आप तब कर सकते हैं जब आप किसी बात को और भी अधिक आश्चर्यजनक या अप्रत्याशित बनाना चाहते हैं. उदाहरण के लिए आप ये कह सकते हैं मैं कल एक पुरानी घड़ी ढूंढ रहा था और मुझे एक सोने की घड़ी मिली और इससे भी अजीब बात यह है कि वो चल भी रही थी. क्या आप एक वाक्य बनाने की कोशिश करना चाहेंगे?
Yes, I was trying to find a old clock and It what I found was golden watch, and stranger still, it was still running. Is my sentence correct?
Yes, your sentence is grammatically correct and it effectively conveys the intended meaning. And stranger still is used perfectly to emphasize the surprising element that the watch was still running. Well done.
Okay, give me some more examples of stranger still in English.
Certainly. Here are a few more examples of and stranger still. 1. I was looking for a rare book, and stranger still, I found it in a small bookstore in a remote town. 2. He claimed to have seen a UFO, and stranger still, his neighbors also reported seeing strange lights in the sky. Would you like any more examples?
Oh yeah, thank you. They were good. Strange and varied are the ways of life, and stranger still are the ways of infinite through which people are sometimes forced to undergo. ठीक है, alright. Practical dreamers do not quit. Desire outwits Mother Nature. टुरु, मुझ पे ये एतबार हुआ. Alright, alright. Remember, no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity than is required to accept misery and poverty. A great poet has correctly stated his universal truth through these lines: I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just a for life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn, dismayed, that any wage I had asked for of life, life would have willingly paid. So I'm reading a poem. Explain me the meaning of the poem.
That sounds interesting. What kind of poem is it? And is there anything specific you'd like to discuss about it?
I am reading a poem, just explain the meaning of it. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store.
This stanza talks about feeling like you're not getting what you deserve in life. The speaker says कि वो life के साथ bargain कर रहे थे, but life ने उन्हें बहुत कम दिया, only to realize at the end of the day that they have very little. Does that make sense?
Hey, first of all, explain in English, and second of all, explain sentence by sentence, phrase by phrase.
My apologies for the confusion. Let's break this down sentence by sentence. The first sentence is I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. This means the speaker felt they were working hard but were receiving very little in return, comparing their efforts to a paltry penny. Does that first sentence make sense?
Hmm. Yes, bro, yes. Move to the second sentence. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store.
I already explained the second sentence. Would you like me to explain the third sentence? Which is, for life is not but a just boss, though I
No,
would work.
no, no, no.
Alright, no problem. Would you like me to explain the poem from the beginning once again?
Hey, bro. क्या आदमी की पजामा है. दिल मेरा तुझ पे ये कुर्बा हुआ. मालिकोली कहने में हर्ज क्या है.
Hey, what's up? Feel free to ask me about anything that's on your mind.
Hey bro, how are you? Hello. Hello. आगे लोग आएंगे. Hello. 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 Hello, how are you? Are you listening? Hello? क्या है?
Hey, what's up? Feel free to ask me about.
Hey, how's it going? I'm looking forward to working together.
Heyo. Hello. Hello. क्या है यार? भाई क्या घटिया हुआ है सारे ऐप. चलो गाइस आज के लिए